Mental health is not an Asian concept. Food is an Asian concept. How many of you here have attended a family gathering and instead of being asked, "How are you?" you got asked, "Have you eaten?" For me, growing up in Vietnam, the phrase "Ăn gì chưa?" or "Have you eaten?" is the most common way for people to start a conversation and connect with each other. Food is how we express our feelings. Are we happy and full, fed and well cared for? Or are we sad and hungry? Do we need to care for someone by serving food? Vietnam is a nation that has suffered extensive tragedy. Back when the Vietnam War finishes in 1975, people were famished and resources sacred. To survive was to have something to eat. And if you were surviving, you were doing better than being dead. Dark times. Decades have passed and Vietnam is no longer trapped in war. However, the phrase "Ăn gì chưa?" or "Have you eaten?" has been culturally integrated and passed down to generations. It is the Vietnamese version of "Are you okay?" When I was around 12, I remember telling my mom, "Mom, I'm sad." And she said, "Did you eat? You had a roof over your head, food provided for, and a proper education. Why are you still sad, huh? Back in my time, when I was your age." I'm sure many of us have heard that before. At the time, I felt invalidated. Only now do I understand that it wasn't because my mom didn't care about me. I know she does, in her own ways. It was because my mom grew up in a time and place where having basic needs met was the definition of survival and contentment. Emotional needs, it wasn't on the survival list, virtually non-existent. Learning to talk to my mom about mental health has been a difficult journey, and it is still a work in progress. I remember when I was invited to be a keynote speaker for Shout Out, which is a youth mental health event located in Parramatta in collaboration with Headspace. I noticed a pattern. All 5 speakers from different non-Western backgrounds were having difficulty in mental health talk conversation with their families. I was trained for mental health first aid, lifeline suicidal prevention, domestic violence, and emergency response. So that's 4. I am also bilingual, but this has not helped me to communicate mental health events and talks to people from non-Western background. So what is the point of having all of this qualification and language ability if I still cannot make mental health relatable for the general public, including my Vietnamese family? Well, this is because mental health was originally created for the general Western community with minimal cross-cultural reference. It was developed from early Greek philosophy in the 17th century. It then became a discipline in Germany in 1800, and it then took off in America afterwards. Mental health intersectionality has only begun to gain a momentum in recent years. In particular, the COVID-19 pandemic has created an urgent sense for mental health needs worldwide. Note that a person's willingness to approach mental health is not solely determined by cultural factors. It is also depending on the person's willingness and openness to new experience to help lowering mental health stigma and prejudice. The question is, how can we deconstruct the historically mental health concept into something more relatable for everyone? And this is how I can help. Step 1. Acknowledge that fundamentally, mental health is Western. People from different cultures will have different interpretation of mental health. A healthy state of mind could be a mind that meditated and prayed. It could be a mind that had done physical exercise or is close to religion. Or, like in my culture, a person's well-being is in check if they have not skipped a meal. Note, cultural is not synonymous with language, ethnicity, or religion. People from the same cultural background can also have different cultural processes and individual characteristics. Step 2, ask and observe. How do you take care of yourself? How do people check up on each other? How does a person overcome life difficulties? People will not have the answer to this question right away, but their action will convey their feelings and behaviors over time. Remember, what a person chooses to not say and do are equally important to what a person chooses to say and do. Step 3, be patient. Communication is a two-way street. It takes time for a person to build trust and open up. And once we understand the person's perspective and observe their behaviors, we can then reframe mental health concept into something more relatable for the person, using the knowledge we have about them. And if we can relate to their experience better, it will be easier for them to relate to what we are saying. From there, we can tell them something like, "Thank you for sharing your experience. So what can I do to make you feel better?" Finally, mental health talk does not need to be difficult. If you find it awkward to talk to your mental health about your ethnic friends or your families, they'll feel the same way. Approach the topic casually when both of you are most relaxed and comfortable. Timing is key. Reminding them that we're currently living in a world where asking for help is encouraged and reaching out for support is an option. You can say something like, "I know that it is not something you had experienced before, but I find other people from our culture are benefiting from it. Maybe we can give it a try?" Integrating mental health intersectionality is not easy. However, we're living in a world where everything is constantly evolving, and so are we. We are blessed to have more options in dealing with personal difficulties compared to the past, where mental health awareness and support were limited. It is up to the individual to choose when and how they approach mental health. It will take time for these changes to happen, but together, we can help to create a future where mental health is no longer a foreign concept. Thank you.